Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. We're having a look this week at the seeds that we sowed last Tuesday. So it's now a week on Thursday, 10 days later, and we've already got germination in a lot of our seed trays, so I'll show you that in just a minute. Today I've also been sowing some extra seeds, some larkspur that has been in the fridge for a couple of weeks, chilling the seeds down. I've got those going today. I've also started off some perennials, some feverfew and acacia today as well. So within just 10 days, it's amazing what can germinate already. That's why it's a really good time to sow your seeds at this time of year, because it's still nice and warm. Sometimes it's a bit easier than starting them off in late winter, where you might need the help of a heated propagator bench to get them going, or a warm kitchen windowsill. But just now in my cold greenhouse outside that's unheated, there's plenty warmth from the sun to get these going. Let's have a look and see how they've got on. So here's all the seed trays here that I have got started off. So I haven't got any heat mats underneath them. They're just sitting on my potting bench in my unheated greenhouse, and the warmth in here has been enough to get them germinating. So you can see over here we've got some calendula seeds that have germinated so far. We've got a few cornflowers just coming up there. The Gypsophila Convent Garden has germinated really well. Got some corn cockles coming up here, some more cornflowers. These classic fantastic cornflowers have really germinated well, and so have the poppy seeds that I've put in behind them. And we've got some stalks over here too which have germinated well. And you can see here that I've been mixing up my seed trays just so that I don't plant too many. I don't need a whole half seed tray of some of my flowers. So when I am planting or sowing a few different seeds in one seed tray, it's really important to label them so you know what's what. The next stage with these little seedlings is going to be to pot them on into separate pots, and I want to do this at just the right stage. At the moment they have just germinated, and we can see their little seed leaves here. That's the first pair of leaves that come through after a seed has germinated, and after that they'll start to develop sets of true leaves which belong to the adult plant as it grows. And I want to just see a couple of these little true leaf pairs coming through at the stage I want to prick them out. So if they've just got their seed leaves and no more, I'm going to leave them for a little bit longer to develop in the seed trays before I prick them out. So it's important to get them at the right stage. You don't want to leave it too long that they have got a tangled mess of roots because they've all grown together, and then it's really difficult to separate them out. So let's have a look just now and see what stage they are at today. That's 9 days on for those ones that have germinated quickly. So these are the classic fantastic cornflower seeds that have germinated, and you can see here that we have got the pairs of seed leaves that have come through, and if you look really closely between those seed leaves, you might just see the start of some true leaves just starting to emerge there. So if I just wait a day or two, those true leaves should start to have come through properly, and at that stage I'll come back and prick them out, and I'll show you how to do that then. The Gypsophila is exactly the same here. We've got a nice pair of seed leaves on them, and I can just start to see the very first stages of those true leaf pairs just sticking out between the two seed leaves there. So we'll give them a day or two more as well, and then we will start to pot them on into their own individual pots. I took the humidity domes off the seed trays there while I was speaking to you so that I could show you what was happening. So on the trays that haven't got anything germinated yet, I am going to put the humidity domes back on to create a great environment for them. But I'm not going to put the humidity domes back over the little seedlings that have now germinated, because that could cause damping off and they could just keel over my little seedlings, and they need lots of air circulating now and good ventilation to grow properly. So these are just going back on these seed trays here where I have sown the seed today, and I'm leaving them off those ones there where germination has already occurred. There we go. all ready to be left for the weekend, and I'll just check on any watering that needs to be done. I'll still be watering from underneath so that I'm not putting a shower of water on top of those little seedlings that have just emerged. So I'll just be filling the seed trays up underneath. Remember, I've got those full seed trays underneath the half seed trays there, which I can put the water into, and it'll just soak up through the soil rather than drowning the newly emerged seedlings from the top. So I'm going to leave them over the weekend, and I'm going to pop back on Monday or Tuesday next week and see how they're getting on. And those first germinated ones, like my calendula, my gypsophila, my cornflowers and the stalks, they might be ready then to prick out and pot on. We'll have a look and see. And we'll have a look and see whether any of the seeds that I've sown today have also germinated. Well, it's a pretty dreich, rainy morning here in the Scottish Borders. It's Tuesday the 14th of September. It's now 2 weeks since I first sowed those hardy annuals, and we're going to check back and see how they are doing today and see if I can prick out any of them, whether they're at the right stage or not. You can hear the rain battering down on the greenhouse, and it's definitely a morning for staying inside and doing some of these jobs here. So let's have a look and see how our seedlings are getting along. So before the weekend we had a look at our cornflower seedlings, and they had their pair of seed leaves on them, but the true leaves hadn't really started emerging yet. But today you can see that they definitely have. Here we go, here's one here. You can see that these are the seed leaves on either side, but now we have got a proper pair of true leaves coming through, and this is a very good time to prick those out and get them on into individual pots to grow on as sturdy little plants and not get tangled up in the seed tray. The stalks as well, you can start to see there that there are little true leaves starting to emerge. Same with the corn cockles, there you go, you can see the pair of seed leaves on either side, and then down here are the true leaves coming through. And the gypsophila really is taking off and really needs pricking out because there is a lot of them there, and they're all starting to get rather crowded. So again, here we go, this is the seed leaves, and there is the true leaves just coming through there again. So good stage for pricking out and getting them on into their individual pots. So last week I sowed some later seeds again, and I can start to see lots of these coming through here now. So I've got some more cornflowers coming through, and I've got some calendula at the back there that's coming through as well. So they're just starting to germinate, and in another week's time they'll be ready to prick out and pot on too. No sign yet of any larkspur little seedlings emerging, but they are trickier ones to germinate. They will take longer, so we'll hang on in there and see what happens over the next week or two. So for my pricking out today, I have got myself some 2-inch pots. These are just little small ones to start them off. I don't like putting them in too big pots to start with when they're absolutely tiny. I can pot them on later when they start to grow and fill these ones. I've also just got some damp multi-purpose compost here, because they're now seedlings and they're not trying to germinate. You don't really need the fine seed cutting compost for this. You can put them into general multi-purpose if you like. And we're just going to fill up some of these 2-inch pots. You can fill them up fairly full at this stage. So I've just filled my pot up like that. We'll do another couple here as well. The weather has definitely started to change this week. It's definitely cooler in the mornings and it's much darker in the evenings by 8 o'clock now, and it's just feeling a little bit more autumnal. I've actually moved my dahlia pots in the side now. I've still got lots in the beds outside, but I did experiment by planting a few in pots this year. So at this time, when the weather was starting to change a little bit, I could move them inside and see if I can extend my season and keep them going for longer, because it'll just take one frost outside and then that will be the end of the dahlias and the cosmos and things. And last year that was the 26th of September, so we're not that far away from that now. So the season is definitely starting to wind down and it's getting on with garden jobs now before the bulb planting. So there we go, I've got a few pots there, and what you can do now is just pop your finger in the top, make a little hole, and then we are going to get, I actually find a pencil quite good for this job. We're just going to tease underneath our cornflowers here and pull one out. And I'll show you this closer up in a second. And you always pick it up by the seed leaves. And there we go. That is our little cornflower plant. So I'm not holding it by the stem or the roots because that's very fragile and it could break. I'm just holding it by those seed leaves. And I'm going to drop it into the hole that I made down here. And then just press in the compost roundabout. So that is our cornflower plant, and it is all potted up and will grow on quite happily there if we just keep the soil moist and give it lots of light and protection in the greenhouse. So I'll see if I can show you some more closer up about what I'm doing here. Move the camera. So here's our cornflowers here, and you've got our pots here as well, and then we could just make a little hole in the middle there where you can use your pencil there or a lollipop stick or even just your finger, make a little hole for the plant to go into. And then I'm just going to use my pencil over here to just tease out underneath those plants there, and I can just pick up by its seed leaf, pull that one out, show you. It's got lots of lovely healthy roots on it, and then that can come along here and go into our pot there, and just press the compost nice and firmly round about it, and then that's it all potted up. So I'll just get a full seed tray and I will line up all these pots that we have got little cornflowers in now, and then they'll sit in there where I can look after them, and I'll label them up so that I know that those are all a particular shade of cornflowers, and they'll stay in the greenhouse over the winter to put down lots of lovely roots and become sturdy little plants. They won't put on a lot of top growth as it gets colder, it'll be mainly roots, but as soon as the spring comes they'll get away much faster than if you had sown them in late winter, and they'll really become very strong, tall plants in the garden with a lot of flowers, hopefully by the end of May, early June next year. So it's definitely worth having a shot with these hardy annuals and trying to get them through the winter if you can. It is difficult, it depends on the kind of winter that we have. Sometimes I won't get any through at all if it's a very, very harsh winter and it's very cold. But there's lots of things that you can do in your greenhouse to insulate it. You can use bubble wrap to line the greenhouse. You can add a fleece covering is what I quite often do. I'll just lay that over the top on really harsh winter nights, and that just gives them a bit of protection as well. And you might have a greenhouse heater too that can just maintain a temperature for you that is above freezing. But they do cope with the cold, so anything above freezing and they should be absolutely fine. Just depends where you live and what kind of winter you're having. So here we go, this is a classic fantastic tray of cornflower seedlings all ready to stay in the greenhouse over the winter and put down lots of roots, turn into sturdy little plants. And if you want any more information on pricking out seedlings and how to do it, I made a video earlier in the year on this. So have a look back on my channel and look up the pricking out seedlings video, and that'll tell you more there. Next week we'll have a look and see what else can be done in the garden at this time of year. I'm going to be sowing some sweet pea seeds because you can also do that just now in the autumn, and I'm also going to be starting to clear up the beds and tidy the garden. There will be flowers for a few more weeks with the chrysanthemums, dahlias, asters, but there are a lot that are now starting to be finished, such as the cornflowers and corn cockles. So we'll collect the seeds that we can in the dry weather and we will start tidying up beds, getting them ready for winter time.